Welcome to TrueSportsTalk.com. Let's let the talk begin. And what I'm talking about in this video, second round of the NBA playoffs is finally underway, okay? The East is finally done. The Chicago Bulls and the Boston Celtics finished one of the greatest playoff series in my lifetime. And then the Heat and the Hawks finally end a blowout series in 7 games. So, let's get it started. We're going to talk about the East first. Cavs at the Hawks. I got the Cavs in 5 or 6 games. I'm giving the Hawks at least 1 or 2 at home, just because they play really strong at home. But other than that, they don't stand a chance against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And this is why. Now, the Hawks were able to stop D-Wade by, well, not stop D-Wade, but beat the Heat by trying to stop D-Wade from getting into the lane and clogging it up, which D-Wade proved that he's a harder task than they thought. But they're going to try to do the same exact thing to LeBron. They don't want LeBron to drive. Everybody wants LeBron to be a shooter. So they're going to try to clog the lane and stop LeBron from driving. Okay? But one thing that the Cavs have that the Heat don't, LeBron actually has a supporting cast. He has Mo Williams, who's an all-star. He has Delonte West, who could knock down a shot consistently, especially when he's open, which he's going to be. And then Boobie Gibson, who's going to knock shots down when he's open consistently. And then you have Big Z, who's a solid 15 and 10 guy. So, the Cavs have enough to get past the Hawks, especially because the Cavs' defense is much better than the Heat's defense. All right? So, the Cavs, really good defensive team, so they're going to slow the Hawks down. And that's how they're going to get past them. They're going to get past them with defense and solid play from the role players and, of course, LeBron. That's how they're going to get past the Hawks in 5 or 6 games. Like I said, Hawks will get 1 or 2 at home because they play really well at home. So you got to give them at least 1 or 2. And during the season, the Cavs kind of struggled in Atlanta a little bit. So they also took a loss. They took an L in Atlanta. So that's why it's going 5 or 6. But Cleveland has that one hands down. Next, Boston Celtics at the Orlando Magic. Boston Celtics fans, I'm sorry, but y'all done. Orlando is going to take this series, I say 6 or 7 games. Reason why. Y'all struggle against the Celtics struggle against the Bulls with the Bulls have no interior player. I mean, Brad Miller had big games, and Joe Cannell killed y'all on the boards. Now, Joe Cannell and Brad Miller together don't equal what Dwight Howard is going to bring. So, there's nobody to stop Dwight Howard. That's the only matchup problem y'all have on the court is Dwight Howard. So, with that being said, y'all going to get beat up down low, and the loss of KG is really going to come into effect here, and Orlando's going to take it. Because, like I said, Boston Celtics, they can match up with the shooters, and I believe y'all point guard is better than Orlando's point guard. I think Rondo right now is better than Rafer Alston, just because he plays defense, he can rebound, he passes the ball well, and he gets into the lane. I'm not going to say he's a better shooter, but he gets into the lane. So, with all that being said, y'all still don't have no answer for Dwight Howard. So, Celtics, especially on them tired legs, they just finished a grueling 7-game series. This 7-game series is so grueling, when you add up the minutes played in this series, it almost equals another full game. So, they're tired, and Orlando's going to get past them with Dwight Howard down low. I don't know how many times I got to say it, but that's what it is. All right, let's move on to the West, okay? Lakers at the Rockets. Now, I have the Lakers winning this in 5 or 6 games. Just because the Lakers are a better team than the Rockets, and they proved it this season when they swept the season series 4-0. Okay? They swept the season series. And then, this is what Houston can't do what they did to Portland. They can't focus on 2 players, because Lakers have more than 2 players that can hurt you. So, it's not like taking Brandon Roy and LaMarcus Aldridge out. What the Rockets will have to do, they have to try to stop Kobe Bryant, Pau Gasol, Andrew Bynum, Lamar Odom, Trevor Ariza, who's proven that he can knock down a 3-point shot. Then they have Shannon Brown, the Chris Brown lookalike, coming off the bench, who hit 6 of 9 from 3-point range against Utah. Then you have Sasha, who slumped in Utah, so you got to think he's going to shoot his way out of that. Lakers are such a deep team that Jordan Farmer no longer even gets minutes. Okay? So, the Rockets, what the Lakers are going to do with the Rockets is the same thing Portland did. Hopefully they just front Yao, because once they front Yao, Yao was out of the game. There's nothing Yao can do when he's fronted. Portland proved that. And then once he's fronted, it's all up to Ron Artest, who shoots these outlandish three-pointers for no reason early in the shot clock. He took 36 threes in the first round. He only made 10. Okay, so if it wasn't for Shane's Battier's clutch 3-pointers, or timely 3-pointers, I'll call them, and some decent play by Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks made some mistakes, especially in close games. He made some mistakes, so he's going to make some mistakes in this round as well. So I have the Lakers getting past them in 5 or 6, just because they're a deeper team. You can't argue that. Next, Denver versus Dallas. You saw this game earlier, and you saw what Denver did to Dallas. Okay, but I still think this game might go 6 or 7. Okay, I still say 6 or 7 in this series. This is why. This series is all about the matchups. Whoever win a matchup that day, their team is going to win. But it's not just one matchup. It's a matchup almost in every position on the court. All right, so you have the point guard matchup, J. Kidd and Chauncey Billups. Okay, now J. Kidd can hang with Chauncey Billups because Chauncey Billups was not a fast point guard. So J. Kidd doesn't have to worry about trying to keep up with a fast point guard like he had to try to keep up with Tony Parker. And they had to switch J.J. Barea on him. So he doesn't have to worry about that. Chauncey Billups was not that fast. So I'm not really focused on that matchup too much. These are the matchups that I am focused on. Josh Howard and Carmelo Anthony. All right. If Josh Howard plays like he played in the last series, then Dallas has a chance because everybody knows Carmelo's is a hell of a scorer. All right. And he's shooting like 50% right now in the playoffs. So if Josh Howard could just keep a little pace, don't get demolished in that matchup by Carmelo, Dallas has a good chance, okay? And then, which sounds like a weird matchup, but it's a really key matchup. It's Kenyon Martin and Dirk Nowitzki, okay? Matter of fact, I put it like this. Kenyon Martin, Chris Anderson versus Dirk Nowitzki, okay? Because with Kenyon Martin and Chris Anderson, they took David West out last series. But David West doesn't have the offensive skill set that Dirk Nowitzki has. Dirk is a hell of a shooter. He's 7 feet tall, and he can put the ball on the ground. So if Kenyon Martin and Chris Anderson could kind of slow Dirk down, then Denver's going to win. Next matchup is a matchup off the bench. Jason Terry and J.R. Smith. Okay? Whoever bench player shows up that day, that's probably who's going to win that game as well. As you saw today, J.R. Smith had a hell of a game. But the thing about J.R. Smith that scares me, he's one of them players, when he gets hot, he's scorching. He won't miss a thing. But then again, he always thinks he's hot. So even when he's not, he's firing threes at an alarming rate, and he'll be clanking. He'll just clank. So the thing about Jason Terry, he doesn't force too much. He stays within the offense, and that's how he get his points. So that's another matchup. So out of those individual matchups, whoever wins those matchups on that day, their team will have a better chance of winning. But I still think Denver is going to win them matchups more times than not. So I got Denver in 6 or 7. All right. Recap: Cavs 5 or 6. I'm not giving you. All right. When I do my predictions now, I'm not gonna give you straight 5 or a straight 6 because it's hard to do. All right. I'm trying to give you the wider range of a prediction I can. So like I said, Cavs 5 or 6, just because the Hawks play well at home. Boston 6 or 7. I mean, Orlando over Boston in 6 or 7. Just because Boston is champs, they're not going to go down quietly. But Orlando's going to win because they have nobody. Celtics have nobody to stop Dwight Howard down low. That's the biggest mismatch in the whole series. Lakers over Rockets, 5 or 6. Biggest thing in that one is Lakers playing consistently throughout the whole game and not giving up large leads. And then Denver over the Mavs in 6 or 7 because Denver will win more individual matchups than Dallas. All right, that's my NBA second round predictions or breakdowns, whatever you want to call it. All right, TrueSportsTalk.com. I'm out. Let me cut my music back on.